The earth rain was pouring down. Dark shadows were creeping across the road, and Emily had a feeling that her husband, Daniel, wasn't alone in the car. There was the faint sound of someone breathing in the back seat. But when she turned around, it was pitch black. Emily and Daniel were driving from Chicago to California. It was a cool fall night. Raindrops splattered on the windshield. They had been driving for the past 8 hours, and now sleepiness and exhaustion were taking over. "We have to stop somewhere," Daniel said, his voice strained. Emily pulled out her phone and searched for nearby motels. The network was slow. The signal was breaking up due to the rain. After a few moments, a name appeared on the screen. Pines Motel, 12 miles away. Vacancy available. The strange thing was that this motel had no reviews or rankings. Even the image on Google Maps was blurry and old. But at that moment, all they needed was a bed. Driving in the rain, they reached a deserted road. Old trees swayed along the side of the road as if blocking the way. Then suddenly a sign appeared. Pines Motel vacancy. The neon light flickered dimly, as if the power was about to go out. The motel building was a single story. The old woodwork had peeled off. The windows were half closed, and there was a small reception office outside. Emily felt as if someone was watching them from behind the windows, but the reflection in the rainwater was blurry. As soon as they entered, an old man, the cashier, appeared. His skin was waxy, his eyes strangely still. "I need a room for one night," Daniel said. The old man placed the register in front of them without smiling. As Emily picked up the pen, she saw that the dates on the back pages of the register were 50 years old. "Room number 7, the old man said, handing over the key. The key was not metal, but a heavy old piece of brass with numbers engraved on it. Room number 7 was surprisingly clean. An old wooden bed, the dim light of a yellow bulb, and a mirror on the wall with a frosted glass. "It's not bad here," Daniel said, and put down the bag. Emily pulled back the window curtains and saw someone standing on the lawn outside. The face was invisible because of the fog, but the person was not moving, just looking straight at them. When Emily blinked, the person was gone. It was around 12 o'clock. Emily opened her eyes. She felt the door slowly open. She woke Daniel, but he was fast asleep. The door creaked shut. Then, for a moment, another woman appeared in the mirror. A pale face, empty eyes, and a blue mark on her neck. Emily tried to scream, but no sound came out. The next morning, they got in the car and started to leave. As soon as they reached the road, Emily turned around and saw that the motel was only a charred wreck. No buildings, no boards, just ash and bushes. Daniel said hesitantly, "Emily, I had a dream last night that we were burning here." The rain had stopped, but there was a strange smell in the air: burnt wood, smoke, and old rot. Both Emily and Daniel were silent. The same question was echoing in their minds. Where did we sleep last night? They headed to the nearest town. There was a small police station on the main road. Daniel went inside and spoke to a middle-aged officer, Sharon Huxley, sitting at the desk. "We stayed at the Pines Motel last night, but this morning there's only rubble," Daniel said. Sharon's face changed instantly, as if a hand had been placed on an old wound. "Don't ever use that name again," she said softly but sternly. Emily asked in surprise, "Why did Sharon open the file drawer and pull out an old, yellowed photo?" The photo showed the same motel, but burned down, and ambulances and fire trucks were parked in front. "It was 1989, Sharon began. "One stormy night, the motel caught fire. It is said to have started in room 7. 3 guests and a cashier burned to death there." Emily took the key out of her bag and placed it on the table. Sharon's eyes widened as she saw the key. It hadn't been found since the accident. "We had searched, but nothing had been found." Then she said softly, "The place you two saw only comes back on the night it needs to be framed." That night, they stayed at a nearby hotel. As Emily fell asleep, she dreamed that she was back in room 7. The same woman with the blue mark was standing in the mirror, but now her face was twisted with anger. "You will take my place." Her voice was low but cold. Suddenly, the room began to burn, filled with smoke, and Emily felt that she could not breathe. She screamed and woke up. There was also fear on Daniel's face. "I dreamed that you were burning in bed, and I was just watching." The next morning, they both went to the police station again. Sharon said that the real cause of the fire was never revealed, but some people said that a woman was murdered in room 7 and set on fire to cover up the crime. The woman's name was Emily. Sharon said, "Emily Harper." The two looked at each other. Emily's full name was also Emily Harper. That evening, Daniel checked his phone for a voicemail. The number was unknown. A woman's hollow voice was heard in the recording. "Come back. Room 7 is waiting for you. The location shown on the phone was exactly where the wreckage now lay. Emily and Daniel decided to go back. Despite their fear, a strange pull kept pulling them back. The evening was falling, dark clouds were rolling in, and the road was still eerily quiet. When they arrived at the scene, there was only charred rubble and brush. But as they got closer, they could hear faint lights and whispers in the air. The first drops of rain fell, and in front of them, in place of the charred rubble, the hollow Pines Motel stood again, as if the fire had never happened. The neon sign read vacancy, and dim shadows moved behind the windows. They both went in. The old cashier was sitting there again, just like the first night. He didn't ask any questions. He just held out the key. Emily took the key in her hand and was surprised to find it was the same key she had given the police. The door to room number 7 opened. A yellow light bulb was burning inside, a tattered blanket on the bed, and the same faded mirror on the wall. The mirror didn't just reflect them. Behind it was another room, but it was covered in blood. The same woman was sitting on the bed, with a blue-marked neck. "You came here with my name." She raised her head, only white in her eyes. Daniel started to back away, but the door closed automatically. The temperature in the room began to rise rapidly, as if a fire were blazing. Suddenly, the bulbs flickered and went out. Smoke began to fill the darkness. Emily felt that it was becoming difficult to breathe, and she wanted to scream, but no sound came out. There was fear in Daniel's eyes, but they had turned to stone. The two of them were now visible in the mirror, but with burnt, coal-black faces. The woman's voice echoed, "You are now part of room number 7. In the morning, the police and rescue team received information that a burnt-out car was parked near the wreckage. Neither Emily nor Daniel was inside. Sharon Huxley, the same police officer, quietly arrived at the scene. As she looked at the charred wreckage, her eyes fell on a broken brass key engraved with room 7, and her ears could hear the distant flickering of neon lights. If you liked this horror story, be sure to subscribe to our channel.